welcome to episode 160 of A Stitch in Time. Today is Friday, November 13th, 2020, but you will not be seeing this until Saturday, that's for sure. I am not sure that recording on Friday the 13th is one of my wisest decisions, but let's roll with it, shall we? It is now after 4:30 in the afternoon, so once again we have stellar lighting, but let's roll with that too. Yeah. My name is Carol. I am known as Knits and Pearls on Ravelry, and I am coming to you from my home in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, not too far east of Vancouver, where we have had a dark, gloomy, rainy, blustery day. A good day to be inside, that's for sure. If this is your first time viewing, a special hello and welcome to you. Thank you for checking out the podcast. It's usually less fraught and better lighting. If you're a returning viewer, you know all those things. Welcome back. Thank you for coming by yet again to spend some time with me. It's at times like this when I especially am grateful that you are tuning in to watch. I also appreciate all of you who took the time to reach out in one way or the other this past week to say hello and leave such kind comments. You are a wonderful, wonderful bunch of people, and I truly, truly am grateful for you. Yes, I had planned to record earlier this afternoon, but there was one project in particular that I wanted to share with you, and it wasn't finished yet, and it took way longer to finish up than I expected. And so that is why it is late afternoon by the time I'm getting around to this. I am going to take a sip of my chai latte. I've made this one with David's Organic Chai, a very nice spicy blend, and I add a little nutmeg on top for good measure. I am ready for something hot to drink. Okay, looking around, let's begin with let's start at the very beginning. Someone very wise once said that. It's a very good place to start. Did you know that? I think I'm a little punchy. What do you think? I am very pleased to announce that I have sewn the project bags for the 2020 Gal Cal. Before I show them to you, for those who don't know, that is the 2020 Gift Along Craft Along, which is taking place in the Stitch in Time podcast Ravelry group. It is very simple to participate. All you have to do is take part in the chatter thread, show us what gifts you are currently making. They can be any type of gift for any occasion, for anybody, any type of craft, and the gift can even be for yourself. What could be easier than that? I will be drawing 3 sets of prizes. I have last week I announced our first 2 winners for October. In the beginning of December, I will announce November's winners, and then in January, I will announce December's winners. And the craft along ends December 31st. The rules are pretty simple. You can only win once. Each time I draw prizes, they will be taken from the very beginning of the Cal all the way to the current, I will cut it off. Like last week I drew from the beginning of the Cal to October 31st. So next time I will draw from October 1st to November 30th, and then so forth. So I will be giving away a project bag each month, and also a Ravelry pattern, a pattern that is giftable on Ravelry up to a value of $10 US. So I've heard from our winners last week, and June here's your bag. I have sewn it. This is the one that June chose. And there's like a little pocket inside with coordinating fabric, little owls. So June, I am hoping to get this in the mail to you this weekend, if not early next week. So this is June's bag. And the next month's winner will have their choice of these two. And again, there's some coordinating fabric inside for the pocket. This time it's these little pine cones and berries. And then this one. Because who doesn't need a bag with knitwear on animals? And that also has the little owls inside. So I will be getting these photographed and up on the first post of that chatter thread. I have been extremely behind in doing that, but I'm really so pleased and grateful for the huge participation that is taking place in that thread. So thank you to everyone who has come by and shown us what you're making and talk to each other. I love that part of it. I try very, very hard to respond to every comment that is directed at me, whether on YouTube or in the Ravelry group. But I love when I see you guys chatting amongst yourselves. I really get a kick out of that. Helps to build some community, which I think we can all use, especially right now, because face it, COVID is going in its second wave all around the world, and we're all, I think, feeling, well, I can only speak for myself, but I have to assume many of you are in the same boat, just feeling a little bit overwhelmed and depressed by it all, and making a point to be spending less time with others. So it's nice to be able to do it in a virtual way, in a different form than, face-to-face with your friends or neighbors. Okay, I have several finished projects. First up are Cameron's Father's Day socks number 3. Yay! His third and final pair of socks out of this yarn, which is Cascade Heritage Wave. This particular colorway is 501 Plume, and if you have not watched before, you may surmise from the fact that this is pair number 3. Yes, I knit him 3 pairs of socks for Father's Day, all out of this particular yarn in 3 different colorways. And even though they're not the most exciting socks in the world to knit, I love them, and he's worth it. So very, very basic 72 stitch top down sock, 2x2 rib, traditional heel flap and gusset, rounded toe, knit on a size 2mm needle. Now these socks fit really well, this particular yarn and needle combination. What he has found in some of the socks that I've knit him is that they're a little bit too big around. So I think on his next pair of socks that are not from this yarn, I'm going to try to drop it down to 68 stitches and see if that makes a difference. As I mentioned last week, it's kind of weird. In general, this is a gradual color changing yarn it's constructed with 2 different colors that are twisted, spun together. There's a very distinct line on this one, and even some of the changes on the foot you can see are quite abrupt as opposed to this sock and all of the other ones I've knitted. So this is all one skein, so I don't know what's up with it, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't mind. They're done. They're not getting redone. So last you will see of the Father's Day socks. So maybe you're as glad about that as I am. I'm not sure. But I am happy to be finished. So once I get those photographed and up on Ravelry, they can go in his drawer and he can wear them. So last week I showed you a very adorable sweater and one in progress, and I'm happy to say they are finished. Let's let's show the baby one first. So last week I showed you the baby's Sock Monkey sweater by Nicole Montgomery, which I had knit out of Broco Vintage in 4 different colorways. And all it was lacking was a pom-pom. And it now has its pom-pom. And I'm happy to say I'm doing much better with pom-poms. And I figured out what I was doing wrong, which was tying it in the wrong place so it was only half as fluffy. And then once I figured that out, it was a no-brainer. Not sure why I didn't clue in before. In any case, this is a little top-down raglan sweater. This is the 6 months size, and I've knit this for my brand new great nephew. His mom is crazy about sock monkeys, and so when I was thinking about what to make him for a gift, it got me thinking about whether or not there were sock monkey sweaters out there, and there are. So let me bring that in a little bit closer, and I can see the light overhead is putting shadow on the cute little monkey face. So this sweater is done with duplicate stitch for the monkey, and then attach the little pom-pom. So yeah, very cute. The only thing I changed about it is I did the body about 3/4 of an inch longer. Everything else, I'm pretty sure I did basically as written. So yay for that. And last week I also showed you that I was working on a sweater for his older brother because I just couldn't not. So this pattern comes in there are 2 different patterns, one for the baby version, one for the child's version. So I am making the child's version for the older great nephew, and that's done too. You can see it looks a little bit different than the other one, and that is because you are given 2 options. You can either do a duplicate stitch monkey on it, or you can knit an intarsia patch and then attach it to the sweater. And that's what I decided to do for this one. So let's bring that in a little bit closer and lift that up so you can see a little bit better. It's the first time I've done intarsia, so it's a little rough, but it's okay. Now the instructions tell you can either like whip stitch the patch to the sweater, or you can use some red yarn and attach it with a row of single crochet. And I really liked the idea of having the red around it. I think it makes it really stand out and pop. So that's what I decided to do, but I was finding she includes a YouTube video in the pattern, like a link to one in the pattern. Let's try that again. She includes a link to a YouTube video in her pattern that shows how to do that. I didn't find the video especially helpful. I will say it was at a strange angle, and she'd started at this corner and she'd already was over here, so you didn't really get a sense of how to start it. You didn't really get a really close-up look at how to do it. But I kind of understood what she was saying, so I started to do it, and I just didn't like how it looked. So what I ended up doing instead, is I single crocheted a row of red around the patch, and then I whip stitched it in place. Then after I had done that, this is quite a big bulky patch, and it wasn't attached anyway in the middle, and I felt like it was heavy and felt like it was, I just felt like it needed to be secured more. So what I ended up doing is doing a line of back stitch around the inside of the border, attaching it in a second place, you see, to the sweater. Sorry, that was my furnace kicking off. It's kind of noisy at this time of year around here when it comes on. Anyway, I felt like that just secured it in a better way to the sweater. It's still fairly thick, and even though I attached it, I counted out the rows and the stitches across in the rows so that it was the same number of stitches that it was being attached to. It's still a little, sits a little bit big for the area. You know what, it's fine, it's a kid's sweater, and it is still awfully cute. And then you can see another little cute little pom-pom there. So what I had kind of missed on the pattern and didn't really notice until she was talking about doing the, or when I was, till I was at the point of doing this patch. She said you could also outline around the monkey's face, which I thought about doing before I attached it to the sweater. But then I decided I kind of liked how it looked more similar to the duplicate stitched version. So I just left it, and I think it's just fine. So, 2 little monkey sweaters are all done. Look how sweet. Aren't they sweet? But wait, there's more. So when I was doing the pom-poms, this all stemmed from a pom-pom. So the first pom-pom that I attempted was much too big for the sweaters. And I thought that one would look really cute on top of a hat. And since I knit my older great nephew a hat to match his mom's monkey hat, I decided that the newest addition needed his own monkey hat too. And so I knit a hat. So this is a pattern by Donna Sayers. I knit the same one for my older great nephew. I think I did the same size. This is the 6 month to 18 months size. I thought if I did the newborn to 6 months, it just wouldn't get to be worn for as long. And this one that I knit for my great nephew, he's just starting to wear it now. He's 2 years old. I think this one's a little bit smaller. I used a little bit smaller needle, and you can see I just used the leftover yarns from the sweater. Oh, I didn't tell you what colors they were. I will in a second. And I actually went through my button box, and I had exactly the same buttons that I had for the first hat. I had 2 left. So the first one I knit, I had made the hat red, I think to match his mom's. But this one I just went with the pattern, and it wasn't till I sort of went on Ravelry to look at the one I had done to use it as a guide for putting on the face that I realized that I had done it differently. But that's okay. He's his own person, and his hat doesn't have to match exactly. What I did for the mouth is, no, I didn't break the person's name down, but when I did my niece's hat, I used a chart by, I think it's LL Cooper on Ravelry. And so this particular pattern has a different mouth that you, for this pattern, I mean, that I'm holding in my hand, this pattern has a completely different mouth that you knit separately and sew on. But I wanted my older great nephew's hat to match his mom's, and so I did a modified version of this graph for his, and so I did the same thing for this one. So yeah, I think it turned out really cute. And so yes, monkeys galore. Let's see, let's put all in one shot. So 1 monkey, 2 monkey, 3, whoops, I'm going to cover that up, 3 monkeys. Can't get them all in at once. Maybe I can. There. And then that is enough with monkeys for a while. I have to say I was all enthused when I started out with sweater number 1. I was partially enthused working on sweater number 2. I was somewhat enthused working on the monkey hat. By the time I finished this patch today, that's what took me so long. I am done with sock monkeys for a while. I am monkeyed out. But I will now get this wrapped up, and will pass it along to my sister to give to her daughter, and I just can't wait to hear her reaction, because I do know how much she appreciates the knitwear, and just I know she will be happy about it. So that makes me happy. So that's it. Monkeys are done. I told you I would tell you what color yarn I used for those sock monkey projects, and then I forgot. So again, the yarn is Barocco Vintage. This dark gray is called Cracked Pepper, number 5017. The red is 5151 Cardinal. The white is 5100 Snow Day, and then the light gray that I used for the monkey face is 5106 Smoke. They seem to have either, I'm not sure if they're all current colorways, but they have a lot of different grays and reds and whites to choose from. So that's what I ended up with, because they were the ones that were in my local yarn shop. So I think they go together really well, and I'm really happy with how they turned out. So now that I finished the Father's Day socks, I needed to have a pair of stockinette socks I could work on in front of Cameron. I do have another pair of socks I am knitting for him, but that they're going to be for Christmas. I showed them to you, I think, a couple of weeks ago. The yarn is Fiber Nymph Dye Works, the Mountain Tweed base in the Storm Warning colorway. And they have not changed a lot since I showed them to you last. I think I was on the gusset when I showed them last time, and I'm now just finished the gusset. So it's a 3-stripe colorway in this beautiful tweed yarn. Again, 72 stitches, top down, traditional heel flap gusset. These do definitely feel a little bit bigger than the Father's Day socks, which is partly why I'm thinking it's time to drop down. But this, obviously, these ones I'm not going to change now. So yeah, those I've been working on, but I needed a pair that I could work on that he could see, and so I have worked on this pair a little bit on and off since I showed it to you last, but they've been hibernating for a while. These are my Dorothy socks, I'm calling them, because the colorway of the yarn is called a Dorothy, and I think it's sort of almost a neon over the rainbow kind of color. Just looking for the yarn label. Here it is. It's by Fiberlia. It's the Casu Marvelous base. You can see that. And that is an 80-20 merino, superwash merino, 20% nylon blend. And so I had knit them up until the point that they needed a heel. And so this morning when I got up and had my first cup or two of tea, I put a heel. I was looking for the yarn and realized it fell on the floor. So just a second. Okay, we can do this. We can do this. All right, here's the sock. That's the beginning of it. I have added this bright pink yarn over short row heel, and I knit that out of this leftover, again, I think the label's in here. Yes. I just about dropped that too. Okay, let's get it together. Carol Zen Yarn Garden. This is the Sturdy Sock Yarn Base, which is a 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon, in the Cali Berry colorway. So if you can read that, it's pretty small. So I just thought that pink went with it really well. But I also have this little ball of yellow Sweet Georgia yarns that came as part of a mini skein set. I didn't end up using it with the yarns it came with, but I thought that also looked really good with this yarn. So I'm going to do yellow toes. So pink heels, yellow toes. So that's my plan for those. So now that I have done the heel and I'm knitting round and round again, I can work on these in front of Cameron while we're watching TV or whatever. And now that I have finished the Sock Monkey sweaters, I am planning to cast on the Wee Wildflower cardigan for my great niece who was born way back in January. In fact, I swatched for it last night while we were watching TV, and my gauge looked good, and so I am planning to cast that on this weekend. So next week I should have some progress on that to share with you. Okay, acquisitions. I had this great package that arrived in the mail this week. And it contained this sack full of lovely yarn. Well, you can't tell how lovely it is now because it's all wrapped up in little packages. This is the, I want to get the name right, 2020 Holiday Pops mini collection from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. And for those of you who've watched for a while, I purchased the 2019 Holiday Minis collection, and I had so much fun opening it up every day through the beginning, well, the first 3.5 weeks of December, right? December 1st to 24th. And then last year I opted for a full skein of yarn to open on the 25th, and I did the same this year. So this year it is a combination of semitonals and speckled yarns, and they are once again designed to use it as a gradient or as a fade or as a, not sure what other way to put it. Each color goes with the one beside it, and they're also designed so if you have a project that goes in a circle, day 21 will also, day 1 will also match day 24. So I am not positive, actually, I just want to show you too, before I go talk about what I might make out of it. So yeah, here's day 1 all ready to go. I just think I love this big beautiful bag that it's come in, and all the fun little packages. So it came with an envelope with my name on it, and also included was some tea, and I've heard Lisa talk about this particular tea, so I'm anxious to try it, and a little stitch marker, and then also a code for 20% off my first order in January, and I can use that up till the end of January. So very excited. I know Lisa watches. Lisa, I just cannot wait to start opening these. It's just so fun, and this year especially I think I'll really enjoy having that to concentrate on, because I know I'm not going to have to worry about cooking a big Christmas dinner or anything like that this year. So one of the patterns that I am considering doing is the Adventuresome Wrap by Amba O'Brien. Oops, just going to bring up the picture here on my iPad. Looks like that. Now the only thing is I need a contrasting yarn to go in between all the colors. And I did ask Lisa, without giving anything away, what would be a good color for that. And she actually said like a black or a dark gray like this would be a good idea. And then I had planned to order some from her, but I know now it's just not going to arrive by December. So I may check out my local yarn shop. Don't think I have anything in my stash, but you never know. Sometimes you forget what you've got tucked away. So I'll look there first. And I'm not even 100% sure it's going to be this pattern. Amber O'Brien has quite a few different Advent themed ones. That's her page on Ravelry. Whoops. With her different Advent projects, some of which I have already knit. So I'm not sure. That's still up in the air, but I have a few weeks to worry about that. And I'm hoping by that time that maybe all my gift knitting will be done and that I can really just concentrate on some pleasant, stress-free knitting for December. That would be the ideal. Speaking of stress, I was thinking this week has been full of ups and downs, but I think most weeks are like that, probably for everybody. There's a few things that are going on. On a positive note, on last Saturday, our two sons came over and helped us reconstruct our shed on our new shed pad. And that went together really well. It was good to have all of us working together because sometimes you need people to see things from different perspectives, and everyone worked together really well and got it all figured out, put back the way it's supposed to be. We had a couple little wrong turns to start with, and then once we clued in, it went very smoothly. So then we had done that, and I had made lunch, and we had just finished lunch, sitting around, and then I knew that our provincial health officer, was going to be having a news conference that day at 1 o'clock with potentially some new restrictions. So while everyone was there, I went and grabbed the iPad and looked it up and saw the highlights from that. By then, it was much later than we'd already had. Sorry, we missed the actual news conference, but by the time we finished lunch, she had it. And what it was that starting 10 o'clock that night, the people in the Vancouver and our Fraser Health regions are not permitted to socialize with anyone outside of our household for 2 weeks. So I think that ends the 23rd. Whether or not it gets extended, I'm not sure. But at least for 2 weeks, they're trying to get a handle on rising case numbers. And one of the biggest areas right now where COVID is being transmitted is in households. And so thankfully we had done that just in time. Now I just want to be clear that we are not from the same household and we're not in our same bubbles. So while we were doing the shed, we were outside and wearing our masks. And then when we were having lunch, I prepared everything, handed it out on paper plates, and we were all sitting outside, socially distanced. So we've tried to be extremely careful. So far, so good. I looked at today's update before I recorded, and sadly, British Columbia has had another record day of single-day cases and hospitalizations. So today there were 617 new cases, 167 people are in hospital with 50 people in intensive care, and sadly 2 more people died since yesterday. So, at one time we just had it way down, and it's just so frustrating to see the case numbers rising. I know people are they call it COVID fatigue, and I just think, come on guys, we can do this. Our people like, and this week was Remembrance Day, where we honor people who've passed away in combat. And you think, come on, guys, the sacrifices people made during wartime pale in this pales in comparison. Surely we can do the simple things we need to do to keep this under control. And if it means not spending close time with your family and friends for a little while, there are lots of ways you can still keep in touch and be together virtually. My daughter and I this week had just a virtual visit, did our knitting and talked for a couple hours via messenger. And yeah, it's not the same as sitting together drinking tea and being able to hug the grandkids and all those things, but it's what we have to do right now. And I just get so frustrated. I know she phoned actually last week and just had to vent, because again, big numbers, and she works in a pharmacy, and so she is in direct contact with patients all the time, and she just is so frustrated by people's lack of attention to the guidelines. So we can do this, let's get through this. I know British Columbia is not the only place that's facing this. It's almost everywhere right now, and as a world, we've got to come together and beat this thing. Come on, people. And anyway, let's change the subject. Another downside is we've had, like I said, today was just terrible weather. Our concrete work, as far as it being the next batch being poured, is on hold until weather improves. So all the forms are built, it's all ready to go. We just have to get some good weather and get it done. So feeling a little frustrated with that. The end of our driveway is all torn up and has forms built because we were replacing the last panel in our driveway. So we can't park in our driveway. Our cars are across the street. Our backyard, part of it had to be all dug up. Part of it got all dug up with the machinery that they needed to get in there to do the work. And that'll eventually go back to grass. But right now it's just a mud pit. And I'm just ready to I want this job finished so that we can kind of get back to a semblance of normalcy back there. On the bright side, because you got to follow something bad with something good. So as viewers, if you've been watching for a little while, recently I shared stories about trying to deal with the moles in our backyard. And I told you that we got a new mole trap that within a few days, boom, caught the mole. And then that was the end of any mole activity for almost 3 weeks. And then Saturday, I noticed in one of the old mole holes some recent activity. It was hard to tell if it was mole activity or if it was just dug up a bit from the machinery that had been in the backyard. But it looked like it wasn't a full-on mole hole, like it was in a spot where there'd been one. The ground was still bare, and it was pushed up a bit, and it's like, I don't know for sure if that's a mole hill, but I'm going to set the trap just in case. So that was Saturday afternoon, just as our kids were all leaving. And then our daughter came by not even 2 hours later, and we took her out back to show her that the shed was back up and show her the concrete work that had been done so far. And darned if that trap hadn't been set off and had another mole. So less than 2 hours after we set it, we had another mole. And then yesterday, spotted another mole hill, and in another part of the backyard where again, it was an existing hole that had been used, but it was definitely a new new molehill. And so I've set the trap as of this minute, a little more than 24 hours later. It has not been set off, but I am hopeful if the mole comes back that it will get it. So anyway, I just continue to be really impressed with this trap. It works really well. So mole wars apparently are ongoing. I thought we were maybe done for the winter, but I'm guessing it's old mole's gone, new mole is coming into the old territory, because there had been absolutely no evidence of mole activity before last Saturday for almost 3 weeks. Another bad thing is while I was sewing project bags the night before last, I did something to my sewing machine and it no longer functions. So the place I bought it and where they the place I bought it is just up the road from where Cameron's office is, and they service them there too. So he took it in for me yesterday. Apparently they are super backed up. It's going to be 5 or 6 weeks before I get it back. However, thankfully I didn't give away my old sewing machine, and there's not a thing wrong with my old sewing machine. It was just that I could not get a walking foot for it for when I want to do quilting. But other than that, it works just fine, and so I was able to resume my sewing with my old machine and will be able to continue sewing with it. So that was a relief. Yes, so did I tell you it's Friday the 13th? You know, it's just been, as I say, a bit of an up and down week. I'm in a bit of a mood today. I cannot tell a lie. But something good is it's Appy night tonight. And besides having Appies for dinner on Friday nights, we also open a bottle of wine. And I am so looking forward to that. It is now just about 5:30, so Cameron should be home within the hour. And I will be very happy to open that bottle of wine and have my first sip. So something good this week is it's Appy night. So happy Appy, everyone. That's what we always say to each other on Fridays. So yes, happy Appy. I hope your Friday the 13th didn't go too badly. And yeah, as I say, I am not going to do anything besides upload this to my computer at when I'm done here, and I will do the editing for it, show notes and all that tomorrow. So well, you'll see it when it comes up. This will be up hopefully sometime on Saturday, if not Sunday. So, but I got it done. Yay. As long as everything goes smoothly, getting it to my computer this week. I ran into difficulties last week, if you remember. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm not even taking that out. Thank you so much for watching. It's been that kind of day. It's been that kind of episode. Thanks for sticking through it all with me, because I know it is not my finest by a long shot. I am grateful for you. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great week. And I'm really hoping to see you again in about a week's time. Bye for now. P.S. If you are wondering what I'm wearing, it is So Faded by Andrea Mowry. I meant to tell you that at the beginning of the episode. It is knit from 3 colors of hedgehog fibers. You can see them all there. And it is in my Ravelry projects under another So Faded, because this is the second one that I have knit. Okay, that's it for this week. Bye.